Hello and welcome to a new piece of content, little content series I'm testing out here on my channel. I am going to do a couple kind of educational water videos to help become a smarter consumer, help all of you become smarter consumers when purchasing your waters. I don't know how often I'm going to put these out. I'm just kind of testing it out right now. But today, on this lovely Monday, November 19th, I will be talking about springs. So on a lot of bottled water you may find at the grocery store, you'll see natural spring water or carbonated spring water, mineral spring water. And basically I'm just going to explain what are springs, how do they form, and I'll discuss a couple different types of springs as well. So first thing, what are springs? So spring is Germanic in its origins. It comes from the German word springen, which means to leap, because the water leaps out of the ground. And to first understand what a spring is, you have to understand what an aquifer is and what the water table is. So an aquifer is an underground reservoir of water, and these underground reservoirs tend to feed into lakes or rivers, but sometimes they will form springs. There's two different types of aquifers. There's confined and unconfined aquifers, and this has to do with the permeability of the surrounding rock. So if the rock is impermeable, then you have a confined aquifer, and if the rock is permeable, which means water can escape, you have an unconfined aquifer. The water table is this layer of saturation just below the surface of the earth where a lot of water gathers, and this is where the intersection of aquifers and the water table to form springs. So when an aquifer gets full, water starts to move and it'll go to the area of least resistance. So shallow areas in valleys or on the sides of hills, below the water table, or just into other water sources like lakes or rivers. So a few different types of springs. We have the gravity spring, which, as the name would suggest, has to do with gravitational forces. So water is pulled through the layers of the earth by gravity, and eventually it'll hit an impermeable surface, at which point it will move along that impermeable surface and eventually escape from the earth, usually on the side of a hill. These are the most common springs that you'll see driving along the side of the road in a mountainous or hilly area. You'll see water flowing down the side of a hill, and these are usually gravity springs. Now, another type of spring that you may see famously on Voss water is an artesian spring. Now, artesian springs are formed by confined aquifers, and what happens is when the aquifer gets too full, pressure inside the aquifer becomes much greater than outside of the aquifer, and therefore water is forced out through cracks in the aquifer's impermeable shell. This is usually just in cold water springs, but if there's a lot of geothermal activity nearby, then the water will be hot and the pressure will increase, and you will get geysers, which are rare phenomenons around the earth, but those are formed by artesian springs usually. Two other forms of springs are gusset springs, which are similar to gravity springs in that they come out of the sides of cliffs, and usually they come out in a gusher, so like a round jet coming out of the side of the cliff, and these are formed by unconfined aquifers. Another form is cave springs, which, as the name would suggest, form in caves, and those are all really the springs I'm going to discuss in this video. So now I will finish with minerals. Usually springs form in areas of very permeable rock. So these are sedimentary rocks like limestone and dolomite. And this is where a lot of the minerals in spring water come from. Usually spring waters are high in calcium and magnesium, and limestone and dolomite. Limestone is made with calcium carbonate, which has a lot of calcium, and dolomite has a lot of calcium and magnesium in it. And sometimes you'll find sodium in spring waters, and this is due to the fact that sometimes salt water from, if the spring is near an ocean, you'll get a little bit of sodium mixed in with the rock, and that ends up in the spring water. So I hope you all enjoyed my first kind of educational video. I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to do this. Please let me know if you like it. What other topics you'd like me to discuss in terms of water. And I will see you all on Friday for my next review. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on Friday.